Next member of the weapon squad we'll talk about is the medium machine gun team. The two-man medium machine gun team is comprised of a gunner and an assistant gunner. The weapon squad has two medium machine gun teams. These teams provide the platoon with medium-range air suppression that ranges up to 1,100 meters during day, night, and adverse weather conditions. Machine gun teams are a ranger's most effective weapon against a dismounted enemy force. Machine guns allow the ranger unit to engage enemy forces from a greater range and with a greater accuracy than individual weapons. A leader's ability to properly employ available machine gun teams and achieve fire superiority is often the deciding factor on the battlefield. The machine gunner. Machine gunner is normally the senior member of the medium machine gun team. During operations, the gunner is responsible for the assistant gunner and all the gun equipment. Machine gunner is responsible for putting the gun in and out of action. Machine gunner is the subject matter expert for information contained in FM 3-22.68 and TC.240. Machine gunner, when attached to a rifle squad, is a subject matter expert for employment of the medium machine gun team and advises the rifle squad leader of the best way to employ the medium machine gun. Machine gunner enforces field discipline while the gun team is employed tactically. Machine gunner knows the ballistic effects of the weapon on all types of targets. Machine gunner assists the weapon squad leader and is prepared to assume his responsibilities. Primary responsibilities to the gun. He is focused on his cleanliness and proper function. He immediately reports abnormalities to the weasel. If necessary for the gunner to carry M240 series ammunition, he carries it on his back so the assistant gunner can access it without stopping the fire of the gun. Machine gunner always carries the necessary tools of the gun to be properly cleaned, along with sufficient amount of oil for the gun's proper function. Machine gunner stands the mission 2 levels up to the squad and platoon level. Next position is assistant machine gunner. Assistant machine gunner is the second member of the gun team. He is prepared to assume the gunner's role in any situation. During operations, the assistant gunner follows the gunner without hesitation. During movement, moves to the right side of the gunner and no more than 3 to 5 meter rush away from the gun. Assistant gunner is responsible for the tripod, the T&E, or the Mark 192 lightweight gun mount. They always must be clean and ready for combat. Assistant gunner is responsible for replacing them if necessary. The assistant machine gunner provides a supply of ammunition to the gun when it's employed. Assistant gunner spots rounds and reports recommended corrections to the gunner. Assistant gunner constantly updates the weapon squad leader on the round count and serviceability of the medium machine gun. Assistant gunner watches for soldiers to the flanks of the target area or between the gun and target. The assistant gunner obtains ammunition from other soldiers who are carrying 7.62 millimeter machine gun ammunition. The assistant gunner immediately assumes the role of the gunner if the gunner is unable to continue his duties. The AG is responsible for his team members and all the gun equipment. The AG and the team will be tactically proficient and knowledgeable on FM 3-22.68 and TC.240 and all applicable technical manuals applying to the medium machine gun. The AG assists the weasel in communicating with the machine gunner and relaying commands. The AG leads by example in all areas. He sets the example in all things. The AG assists the machine gunner in all areas. He advises him of problems either tactical or administrative. The assistant gunner is responsible for all the actions concerning the machine gun. The AG is the ammunition bearer, and if ammunition is needed, he actively seeks it out. The AG constantly updates the machine gun and the weasel on the round count and serviceability of the 240. When a machine gun is firing, the AG spots rounds and makes corrections to a gunner's fire or makes recommendations to corrections of the gunner's fire. The AG is always prepared to change the gun's barrel. Spare barrel is always out when the gun is firing. Ensures the hot barrel is not placed on live ammunition or directly on the ground when it comes out of the gun. And the AG will understand the mission 2 levels up to the squad and platoon level. Now, the weasel, the machine gunner, and the AG, they must know the rates of fire on a machine gun. At the sustained rate of fire, we fire in 6 to 9 round bursts, 4 to 5 second pause in between them bursts, 100 rounds per minute, barrel change every 10 minutes. That's the sustained rate of fire. That's where we do most of our business at. Now the rapid rate of fire, which is what we always initiate or open up with and then move down on order from the weapon squad leader upon visual, audio, hand and arm signal from him to reduce, maintain, or increase the rate of fire, we alternate from rapid to sustained or back to rapid, or it could be rare instance cyclic. The rapid rate of fire is 200 rounds per minute. We fire in 10 to 12 round bursts, 2 to 3 seconds in between each burst. But then you're going to have to do a barrel change every 2 minutes. Now, lastly, is mostly for knowledge purposes because we want to control our rates of fire. Make sure we're only firing in accordance with the patrol order, the weapon squad leader's intent, patrol leader's intent, is the cyclic rate of fire. Cyclic rate of fire on the M240 Lima is 650 to 950 rounds per minute. On a continuous burst, you need to barrel change every minute, and we're going to stay away from that one unless it's absolutely necessary. Remember, machine gun teams will always open up or initiate on the enemy at the rapid rate of fire and then reduce to the sustained rate, or upon order move to the sustained rate through hand and arm signals from the weapon squad leader, confirmed through the AG to the machine gunner. We could increase or decrease our rates of fire. Sustained rate, 100 rounds per minute, fire 6 to 9 round bursts, about 4 or 5 seconds in between each burst. You're going to need a barrel change every 10 minutes. Rapid rate, that's 200 rounds per minute. We fire that in 10 to 12 round bursts. We're going to have about 2 to 3 seconds in between the bursts, but you're going to have a barrel change every 2 minutes if you stay at that rate. Now, next thing we talk about is medium machine gun teams' standard operating procedures, universal, apply to the machine gunner and the assistant gunner. Machine gun teams observe. Observation. Gunners and AGs continuously and actively observe their sectors while on patrol, while in the sport by fire at all times. And machine gun teams fire. Gunners can open fire without command on appropriate targets that appear within their sectors. This is the only time that a machine gun team will fire without a fire command, either audio, visual, hand and arm signal, or coordinated for in a patrol order. But when machine gun teams fire, they do so according to a target priority matrix when it's at the machine gunner's command. First and most important threat is an enemy machine gun team or crew. A machine gunner sees them as the highest priority in the target threat matrix. Next is C2 nodes. The way to visualize this in your mind's eye would be a silhouette of an RTO on a knee with an antenna sticking up out of his pack and a radio telephone being held by some sort of enemy leader. That's a C2 node. That would be next in the machine gunner's target priority matrix. Again, if he has to fire at his command, this is how a machine gun team not only discriminates against targets, but will prioritize them targets when it's at the machine gunner's command. Next thing is enemy forces advancing on their position. And we always remember, frontal before flank, near before far. Machine gun teams check in their standard operating procedures. They check while firing. Machine gunner periodically checks with the weasel for instructions. The AG is working at his pinnacle to ensure that any messages, either audio, visual, hand, and arm, from the weapons squad leader attached to a rifle squad, the squad leader, or whoever the on-the-scene commander is, i.e. a fire team leader due to cessation of command, patrol leader on the assault, they're always checking to ensure they got all the latest instructions from the on-the-scene commander. Machine gun teams return fire in their standard operating procedures. The machine gunners return enemy fire on order or according to the target threat matrix without an order. They concentrate their machine gun fire on enemy automatic weapons first, again following the threat priority matrix we discussed. Next, in the machine gun team standard operating procedures, machine gun teams shift their fire. Machine gunners shift their fires without command or on command when more dangerous targets appear, again defaulting to the machine gun team's target threat matrix. They will shift fire to a more dangerous target on or without command when a more dangerous target appears according to the target threat matrix. Next in the standard operating procedures for machine gun teams is machine gun teams rate of fire. When machine gunners engage a target, like we discussed earlier, they initially open fire at the rapid rate to gain and maintain overwhelming fire superiority, and then reduce to the sustained rate of fire. In the standard operating procedures for machine gun teams always mutually support. There's 2 medium machine gun teams in a weapon squad, 2 in a platoon. They can be detached or attached to occupying the sport by fire, locally commanded by the Weasel or in accordance with the patrol order, or if attached to a rifle squad or a platoon sergeant, depending on the type of operation we're running. But machine gun teams mutually support. When 2 or more machine gunners engage the same target and one machine gunner stops firing, the other increases his rate of fire and covers the entire target. When only one machine gunner is needed to engage a target, and the weapon squad leader, patrol leader, or on-the-scene commander is alerted 2 or more machine guns, the machine gunner not firing, aims at and follows the movements of the target. That way he's prepared and ready to engage until that target is destroyed. This way, he is ready to open fire immediately if the other machine gun malfunctions or ceases fire before the target is destroyed.